Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for our national anthem, performed by Emily Margovich, who moved to Wilmington last year as the first singer to be hired by Opera Delaware in their brand new employment program.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Great job. So good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Quaranta, and I'm president of the Delaware State Chamber of Commerce. Let me welcome all 1,100 of you to our sold-out 189th annual dinner. Before I begin our program tonight, I'm going to ask your personal indulgence for just a moment. I'd like to share some news. 2026 will be my last year at the State Chamber, as it is my intention to retire at the end of the calendar year. So when I got here in 2018, I inherited a strong team and organization, and several of those original team members are actually here tonight. My charge from the board of directors was, however, to modernize the State Chamber and to take it, as author Jim Collins has referred to, as good to great. Since my arrival, we've almost doubled our revenues, laid out a modern vision and a strategic plan that mirrors how the very best state chambers are organized. And here is an example of who we are and what we look like today. We've added the Delaware State Chamber Foundation, our nonpartisan research arm, to our organization, and let me publicly thank Foundation Chair John Fannin and members Mark Hutton and Terry Murphy for signing on as our first trustees of what we believe will be an important policy-making voice for Delaware for many years to come. On the other end of the spectrum is our voter education and political entity, the Delaware Employers and Employees Education Fund, and the 1837 PAC engage in voter education by publishing information like the Delaware Competitiveness Blue Book, our legislative roster, our How They Voted scorecard, and more. It's been quite an undertaking, and here we are. My time has been a journey of resourcing our entities and engaging them in policy development in more meaningful ways than ever before. We could not have accomplished any of that without a trusting and engaged board, members like all of you, and an incredible staff of highly professional individuals. As I close out my career, allow me just, if you will, another moment to acknowledge a few people who have played significant roles for me along the way. Of course, it started with these two. Those are my folks. Mom and Dad, who said, just like every parent, yes to very few things and no to a heck of a lot more. To this guy, that's former United States Senator David Durenberger of Minnesota. He gave me my first professional job as a staffer on a committee in the United States Senate. Coincidentally, the chairman of that committee was none other than a guy named Bill Roth. And he's pictured there, just in the background over the senator's shoulder. The other senator over there to the left, that's John Warner, Senator John Warner of Virginia, who's, I don't know, husband number what of Elizabeth Taylor's. Years later, I entered corporate America and worked for TRW Inc. and then later Experian. I oversaw federal, state, and Canadian government affairs, and that was back in 1990 when I first set foot in Delaware. Once here, I met a guy by the name of Bob Bird and his business partner at that time, Bill Wood, and they helped guide our efforts in Dover. Finally, in 2003, I had the opportunity to return to Capitol Hill another time, but this time to the House of Representatives, and lead the congressional office of then Delaware Congressman Mike Castle as his last chief of staff. As you all know, on August 14th of last year, we lost him, so please join me in one last sign of appreciation for all that he did for Delaware during his remarkable career. Let me close out with this. Career accomplishments come with significant and unfortunately sometimes a lot of sacrifice, and unfortunately sometimes that impacts the people who mean the most to you. Two of my three children are here tonight, and I want to publicly acknowledge all three of them. My son Frank, who couldn't be here tonight, is a graduate of Ryerson University in Toronto and is now a general manager of a multi-million-dollar restaurant in Denver, Colorado. My oldest daughter, Renee, she's my Iowa Hawkeye, and now a middle school English teacher in Loudoun County, Virginia. And my baby girl, Marie, well, she's a tiger, and an alum of Clemson University, who is on the national headquarters staff at DECA in Reston, Virginia. All three mean the world to me, and no title, president, mayor, none of that is as meaningful as Dad. They're over here. Renee, Marie, please stand. I love you both. Thank you for allowing me to share all of that with you. And before I pass off the microphone, one quick housekeeping note. On the back of your name tag is a QR code, and I encourage all of you to take a look at that and scan it. It links to important information for tonight, the floor plan, a digital version of our magazine, links to purchase the books on your table, and a few other helpful resources. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce our outgoing chair, Marie Holliday. Marie stepped up to the chair role early, knowing it would extend her time beyond what is typical. She didn't hesitate. Marie, let me personally thank you on behalf of the team and the board members, past and present, for all of your service. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Marie Holliday.
Thank you, Mike. Good evening, everyone. As I wrap up my time as chair, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on how I even got here. Because if I'm being honest, this was never part of some long-term plan for me. Several years ago, my firm was fortunate enough to be recognized with the Superstars in Business Award. At the time, I was involved with the State Chamber, but I wouldn't have described myself as deeply engaged. I attended meetings, I supported the mission, but I wasn't all the way in. That changed shortly after the Superstars Awards ceremony, when Mike tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I'd consider serving on the Board of Governors. I was honored, and I said yes. From there, I decided that if I was going to be part of the board, I wanted to truly contribute. I started out volunteering for the Superstars Committee. Then Mike tapped me on the shoulder again and asked if I would step into the role of treasurer. At a time when the State Chamber, like so many organizations, was navigating real uncertainty during the pandemic. It wasn't easy, but together we strengthened accounting processes and kept things moving forward. Then once again, Mike tapped me on the shoulder and asked if I'd consider serving as chair of the board of directors. That role felt very intimidating. My company was small relative to the other companies for the members of the board. I was not sure if I was the right person for the job, but I said yes. And I can honestly say it has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my professional life. Some of my most meaningful experiences as chair came from engaging directly with legislators on critical business issues, including the importance of protecting Delaware's corporate franchise tax. In those moments, it often wasn't one argument or one voice that moved the conversation forward, but the collective credibility and perspective of business leaders around the table. That experience showed me how advocacy takes many people speaking up to make a difference. As I pass the gavel, I do so with complete confidence in our incoming chair, John Gooden. Each chair comes in with a skill or expertise that the State Chamber needs at that time. John's experience in advocacy and workforce development will benefit the Chamber immensely, since these are two of the cornerstones of our recent strategic plan. So my message tonight is simple. When someone from this organization taps you on the shoulder and asks you to get involved, say yes. Maybe. You never know where it might lead or the impact you might have. Thanks for the opportunity to serve. It has been an honor. John?
Thank you, Marie. Thank you for your leadership and for the steady direction that you provided during your time as chair. As I step into the role as chair, I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve and for the strong foundation that's already in place. At the Delaware State Chamber, we're focused on strengthening Delaware's business community so our economy can grow and compete. Today, education and workforce development sit at the center of that mission. Both of these are topics that are central to my work at M. Davis. I regularly visit high schools and welcome students into our shop to witness what manufacturing is all about and to understand the real opportunities that are available in their skilled trades and their technical careers. Having a pipeline with the basic skills necessary to succeed in life is critical to the success of the business community. Years ago, the world we lived in meant that there were always way more people than there were jobs. Truth is, the business community sort of had its pick of candidates, so we left education and training objectives up to the educators and to others. Today, that's no longer the case. We now live in a world where there are more open jobs than there are people, a lot more jobs. That's the new normal. Because of that shift, the business community has no choice but to fully engage in workforce training and education outcomes like never before. We need to be at the table for education and workforce readiness discussions because we no longer have the luxury of a seemingly unlimited supply of labor. In my business, and in many of yours, success depends on people who can work in teams, communicate clearly, apply strong math and language skills to meet the demands of your customers and projects. That's why our work, connecting business, education, and public policy, is so critical right now. And it's why leadership in state government matters. With that, it's my honor to introduce someone who understands the importance of aligning education, workforce development, and economic opportunity for Delaware's future. Please join me in welcoming Governor Matt Meyer.
Good evening. As we all sit here tonight in the safety of the Chase Center, there are police officers, law enforcement officers working right now as I speak to you all across our state to keep us safe as they do every morning, afternoon, and night. We all hope and pray that each and every one of them gets home safely to their families today. On December 23rd, Corporal Grade 1 Ty Snook of the Delaware State Police did not come home. He was ambushed in a Division of Motor Vehicle facility that I know many of you know, just a few blocks from here. I wanted to start tonight just by asking each and every one of you to take a moment to think of the heroism of Ty, the extraordinary honor of his life and his contributions to our great state. Thank you. Thank you to John Gooden and Marie, John, for that introduction, and to Mike Quaranta. Mike, thanks for your tremendous leadership at the State Chamber, your hard work with your team in marketing Delaware to the nation and to the world, taking a Delaware business community that is often in competition with each other and getting them to collaborate on important initiatives to create jobs and grow Delaware's economy for generations to come. Thank you for doing that for the past, you've been doing this, what, for the past 7-8 years. But can we all give a big round of applause to Mike Quaranta? It's not just leadership, smart, hardworking leadership, but it's creative leadership that really has helped our state. Thank you also to tonight's sponsors, particularly WSFS Chemours, and I got to mention my fellow Emmy-winning co-producers, 1440 Film Company. We won it together, baby. I also want to recognize my good friend Tom Clark, His Excellency, the Consul General of Canada in New York. I had a great time today meeting with the Consul General and members of his team. Whatever you're reading on the national news, the relationship between Canada, its provinces, and the state of Delaware is stronger than ever. And if you, your business or organization, has any opportunity to collaborate with Canadians or Canadian companies, please let us know. You have leaders in government eager to work with you to enable that for the benefit of Canadians and Delawareans. I'm not going to be too, give Canada a round of applause. We're gonna be in hockey in the Olympics in a few weeks, but other than that, we're friends. I look forward to hearing from my good friend, the president of, or the CEO of WSFS and the co-chair of the Delaware Prosperity Partnership's Board of Directors, Rodger Levenson. Rodger, thank you for all you have done and continue to do to give back to Delaware and the Philadelphia region. You make WSFS a place where people really want to work. That's good for Delaware. You make it a place that Delawareans and Delaware small businesses continue to count on, so thank you. It's good to see here up front my governing partner, Lieutenant Governor Kyle Evans-Gay, who's really taking on the lead in overhauling our state's child care system. Thank you, Kyle, for being here. And let's also recognize that's right, give Kyle a round of applause. And I think Kathy Jennings is somewhere in the crowd. I want to make sure to call out Kathy. She spent 2025 protecting Delawareans in a number of ways. One way saved our state nearly $1 billion of federal funds. She, through litigation now, has protected Delawareans from federal cuts and federal overreach to the tune of nearly $900 million. So let's give Kathy a round of applause. Kathy and her Department of Justice team, I should add. I'm not sure if they've made it back. I was with Senator Coons, Senator Blunt Rochester, and Representative McBride this morning in Washington. But together with your governor, we are a team that's got our head down in very politically divided times. We are working for Delaware for every corner of this state, and I appreciate their support of the chamber. With respect to our friends from Dover, I think we have a quorum tonight. Thank you to the House and Senate leadership, Democrats and Republicans. Thank you for joining us tonight and your continued leadership to move Delaware business forward. My cabinet and staff, I think nearly my entire cabinet, is here tonight. They've worked tremendously hard in the past year delivering an agenda that's not only forward-thinking but also equitable, an agenda based on making life easier and more affordable regardless of the zip code in which you live. But here's the truth. Delaware's economy is not powered by press releases or politicians. It is powered by you, by the people who take risks, who open doors, who train workers, and who make payroll, by the people who keep investing in the first state. Before I was governor, I spent years in the classroom, and I built small businesses. I built 2 small businesses. Those experiences shape how I think about government. You don't get credit for good intentions. You don't get credit for signing a piece of legislation years ago. You get judged by whether you deliver results. Last year, I stood here and talked about enhancing Delaware's quality of life to attract the best and brightest, that by investing in our schools, communities, and people, we could build a model for the nation focused on good governance, on creating abundance, and on delivering for families. And I'm proud to say that's exactly what we're doing. Over the last 12 months, we've taken historic steps forward in protecting our corporate franchise, and we've added clarity to Delaware corporate law. With the extraordinary leadership of our Secretary of State, Patibanda Sanchez, we saw nearly 280,000 new entities incorporated here in Delaware just in the first 10 months of last year, 280,000 new entities. That's 14% more than the 10 months, the same period in 2024. So don't believe everything you read on social media. It's important to know that we didn't do this alone. There was tremendous leadership in the House and the Senate to support these efforts going forward. Mike Quaranta also had a key role, putting together with the Chamber the new Corporate Council Committee, which did wonderful work putting the best and the brightest together to make sure our corporate franchise moves forward with the times. Delaware's corporate franchise is the jewel of corporate governance. We will always lean on clarity, stability, and fairness in the law to lead not just our state, but the nation and the world in corporate governance. We established the Office of Workforce Development to streamline state resources with the jobs of the future. As John Gooden referenced, now is a time where workforce training and apprenticeships are essential to providing your companies with the workforce that they deserve. We distributed resources in partnership with Delaware entrepreneurs and small business owners. We accelerated 45 new and rapidly growing companies that will scale and companies that will stay in Delaware. We broke ground on Merck's $1 billion state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in Wilmington, building on the great work of my predecessor, Governor Carney, to attract and expand Merck's efforts here to produce the cancer drugs of the future right over here on 141. We made historic investments in affordable housing. We doubled down on our commitment to build more homes in existing economic corridors. In the coming months, we're going to be standing up a digital interface to make housing permitting easier than ever before, more transparent and seamless. Also, we can grow smartly, not just quickly. About 1/3 of the costs of building a new home in Delaware are soft costs, not construction costs, but the cost of regulation, of paying lawyers and paperwork. Who pays for that 1/3 cost? Home buyers do. You and I do when we go shopping for homes. This new platform aims to use technology to streamline and reduce those costs for home buyers. We also forgave medical debt for more than 18,000 Delawareans. We're investing just $500,000 to forgive $50 million of medical debt for Delawareans. That's a 100x ROI. No Delawarean should lose their home, their car, or their education simply because of a cancer diagnosis. And we successfully won hundreds of millions of dollars in competitive federal grant money. 4 game-changing grants in the last 2 months alone. One is the largest competitive federal grant that we believe the state has ever won. A $157 million grant that's likely going to be $780 million over the next 5 years to execute on about 15 projects to transform healthcare in Delaware, including creating the first medical school in the state of Delaware. We recently finalized a BEAD grant that was started by Governor Carney, $100 million so that communities across our state could have access to high-speed internet. We've also recently received innovative grants for childcare and for literacy. That's in collaboration with the federal government. I've made clear since my inauguration address that I'm going to always stand up and protect Delawareans when our people and our values are under attack, even if that means standing up to our own federal government. But at the same time, we're working very hard to find constructive ways, leaning on our values, to work with the Trump administration, to benefit Delawareans. It's not about politics. It's about trying to get every dollar we can into our communities. It's about making life easier and cheaper for Delaware families. It's about delivering for Delaware. Of course, we can make all the positive changes we want, but none of it matters if our kids can't read the book in front of them. I'm a math teacher, and I'll be the first one to tell you there's no point in solving for X if you can't read the word problem. That's why we declared a literacy emergency. We steered millions of dollars to teacher-directed classroom projects. That means the teacher decided what we bought and what we didn't buy. We did that in over 4,000 classrooms in the state just a few months ago. We put forth a statewide literacy plan that will ensure more Delaware kids are reading at grade level. And the majority of Delaware classrooms now are using science of reading to teach reading. As we look ahead, we will continue to invest in the next generation and make Delaware a more affordable state. A state where more businesses, more students, and more families want to call home. That's why it's critical that we pass a new school funding formula this year, one that has more flexibility and accountability to ensure every community has the resources it needs to teach our kids, and that those dollars go directly to the classrooms that need it most. That's also why we must finalize the Reading Consortium's proposed plan, so that we can have more equity, more opportunity, and more Newcastle County kids can truly get a fair shot at the future that they deserve. And we must continue looking at where we can consolidate resources and bring districts together. We need to get money not to district offices or state offices, but directly to classrooms. As leaders, we make hard choices every day, all of us. We look at complex situations, we examine every angle, and then we make the decision that will do the greatest amount of good or provide the greatest return. That's what I think about every day as your governor. But that starts by building a state government and an economy that's actually focused on innovation first. A state government that can move fast, that invests in its small businesses and attracts large multinational companies, that cuts bureaucracy so that businesses and entrepreneurs can focus on creating jobs, building homes, and developing the latest cutting-edge technologies, instead of worrying about whether their permit got approved or not. And frankly, we're living through a time where a lot of decisions that affect Delaware are not being made from here. Whether it's tariffs or supply chain disruptions, federal policy shifts, interest rates, workforce shortages, energy prices. I know you feel the squeeze. Delaware families feel the squeeze, and I feel the squeeze as well. We know that when systems stall and the federal government creates more uncertainty, a Fortune 500 company or a state government can usually adjust and adapt. It's hardworking Delaware families. It's small business owners who really pay the price, both in the short term and the long term. That's why it's never been more important for everyone in this room to be working together towards one goal, and that's creating a more prosperous Delaware. So while I know we can't control every headwind coming at us from outside our borders, what we can control here in Delaware is whether state government is an anchor holding back innovation or a partner helping it to flourish. Over the last year, I've heard similar stories from business owners, nonprofit leaders, parents, and workers. Everything is more expensive, and government needs to work faster to make life a little easier for folks. Because when government moves slowly, it doesn't just frustrate people. There are real costs. Our focus is simple. Make Delaware state government faster, clearer, and more accountable. That means we don't just celebrate that Delaware is a great place to incorporate a business. It means Delaware is a great place to do business. And we protect that reputation by acting like it every day in the way we regulate, the way we communicate, and moving with urgency to solve problems, not just of today, but of tomorrow. It also means we're honest about the barriers that employers and entrepreneurs are facing right now. Commercial rents and overheads are squeezing small businesses and startups. Access to capital can still be too hard for the people who may have the best ideas. And too often, there's too much red tape. In the year ahead, we're going to push a deregulate and innovate economic agenda that is practical, that is measurable, and that is driven by real feedback from the people who actually use the systems. Not deregulation for its own sake. The D in DOGE does not stand for Delaware. This is not a slogan or a marketing campaign. Instead, this is a serious effort to remove outdated rules, reduce duplication, shorten timelines, and make the path to yes clearer when people are trying to build, hire, expand, and invest. Here's what it looks like in plain terms. If a permit takes too long, we should know exactly why, and the state government should own fixing it. If 3 forms ask for the same information, we should cut down on the paperwork. If a rule made sense 20 years ago, and now it's just slowing down housing, childcare, or job creation, we need to get rid of it. And if you're using a pen to fill out a form and then faxing it somewhere, you're going to have a governor who's asking, where's the app for that? But to do this, we want your help. You're the customers, you're the users. In fact, we need your help. Tell us where the roadblocks are. Tell us what makes no sense. Tell us what causes you the most delays. We will take that information seriously, and we will act. We are clear-eyed about where the next wave of growth is coming from innovation, from startups, and from people who are willing to take a risk on an idea and build something new right here in Delaware. That's why we're sharpening the focus of the Delaware Prosperity Partnership to do more than recruit and retain big business. Recruiting and retaining big businesses are still important, but to help promising startups become truly investment ready, we want good ideas to create jobs and to scale faster than anywhere else in the country. It also means recognizing that Delaware's creative economy matters. Delaware has talent. Delaware has stories. Delaware has potential that can translate into jobs and investment if we take it seriously. So it doesn't make sense that Delaware is one of the few states without a film tax credit. From farms and suburbs to big buildings and beaches, we have everything, all within a 90-minute drive at the longest. The new Superman movie is literally set in Delaware. They should be shooting here. They should be hiring Delawareans. Hey, Aubrey, how about a White Lotus Rehoboth? We're not going to let so many other neighboring states soak up all of that Hollywood money. I may look more like Clark Kent than Superman, but that Hollywood money needs to come here on my watch. We know that Delaware is small enough to move fast when we want to. We have the talent, the institutions, and the people to compete with any state, and even a few countries. We just have to be willing to work together. Our state is hot now. There's all sorts of evidence that people want to come and live in Delaware. Let's build on that. Thank you again to the Chamber, to WSFS, and to all the sponsors, and to all of you for listening while your stomachs grumble ahead of dinner. Let me just leave you with this. We don't make promises, we make plans, and then we turn those plans into progress. Empty political promises mean nothing. We say how we're going to deliver for people, and then we do it. Like me, I know there are a lot of football fans here with broken hearts today. Don't lose the faith. The future is so much brighter than our past. Go Hornets, go Blue Hens.
Thank you, Governor. That was great. Now for the big reveal. The Josiah Marvel Cup honors a Delawarean who has made an outstanding contribution to our state, community, or society. Tonight is the 76th presentation of the State Chamber's highest honor. The award is named in memory of the Honorable Josiah Marvel, who was responsible for reorganizing and serving as the first president of the modern-day State Chamber. We are lucky to have several past award recipients in the room with us tonight, and I'd like to ask Major General Frank Vavala, Senator Tom Carper, Skip Shaneholtz, and Fred Sears to stand and please be recognized. The work is never done. Frank's still very involved with the National Guard. Skip serves on a Christian school board. Fred, of course, helps so many nonprofits. And Senator Carper is launching a new initiative on energy and other subject matters. So now let's find out who the 2026 Marvel Cup recipient is.
You know, when you meet somebody who is authentic, smart, enthusiastic, determined, and who gets things done, that's an incredible combination, and this year's award winner represents all of those qualities.
This person is open, caring, and genuine. I have always found the honoree to be somebody who will tell you exactly what the truth is and how best to serve the people of Delaware.
This year's honoree is a member of Delaware Tech's Legacy Society, which means that person has personally contributed over $50,000 during the course of their giving history, but the organization that they lead has given over $400,000 over the course of 25 years.
You know, a lot of people think that developers are just in it for the money, and maybe some are, but I can tell you emphatically that this particular individual cares way more about the quality of the community than they do about making money from it.
When Jack was governor, I first met this person through the arts arena, and I was immediately struck by their commitment to bringing people together to do really great things.
I've had the privilege of knowing this woman for the past 40 years, and I can tell you with certainty that the woman we're celebrating today is the exact same woman that she's always been, a most extraordinary human being.
I do a lot of work with female leaders and mentoring and developing female leaders. This recipient is the epitome of what it means to be a strong female leader.
I think that she has a vision for Sussex County that is beyond what any of us could ever have imagined for the spaces down here. There are easy roads that she could certainly take, and she chooses to take the one that's less traveled all the time.
To be so incredible and giving back in their philanthropic efforts is something that I have always idolized in this person and have wanted to do myself because I've been so inspired by what they have done. And I mean, from giving back to nonprofits to doing so much in the arts for the state of Delaware, it's just made Delaware an even greater place where you want to live because of this person.
This person is so resilient and so strong. She says what she means, and she means what she says, and she says it nicely most of the time.
Congratulations to the 2026 Josiah Marvel Cup recipient, Michelle DeFebo Freeman.
Congratulations, Michelle.
Congratulations, Michelle.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Michelle.
Congratulations, Michelle, on behalf of the entire Delaware Tech community, especially our students. Thank you very much for all you do.
Michelle Freeman, my treasured friend and leader, congratulations, you rock it.
Couldn't think of a more deserving person to receive this award.
She really cares not only about business and about female entrepreneurship and leadership, but she does want to give back to the next generation.
Innovative, forward-thinking, and progressive in exactly what the community needs.
Her belief that creativity is essential to the human experience has changed countless lives.
She has a vision for Sussex County that is beyond what any of us could ever have imagined for the spaces down here.
Some rock and roll on a school night is a great thing, and the Freeman stage always brings that. So that in and of itself warrants special recognition and an honor.
That's what we want when we're talking about public service. People who put others before themselves, and that is what she exudes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle DeFebo Freeman.
Italians are never speechless. I'm absolutely speechless and so moved and so humbled. My name is Michelle DeFebo Freeman, and I was raised right here in Wilmington, Delaware. And I was thinking back when I saw that in 2019, when Elena Deladon won the championships for the Mystics for the WNBA, her and I later that night did a little dance, and we said, "We're two girls from Delaware. We're two girls from Delaware." I'm proud to live in this state, and I'm proud from where I came from. I am so honored. Thank you, Delaware State Chamber, and so blessed. My life has been so blessed. My father-in-law, Carl Freeman, who had to change his name because people wouldn't buy houses from a Jew, from freedman to freeman, used to say, gather people around you who are smarter than yourself. And so tonight I want to acknowledge my team back there from the Joshua Freeman Foundation that is bringing arts to Sussex County. If you have $1 to give to anything this year, we are bringing the arts literally in front of people's eyes out of the ground, and we'll take 50 cents, we'll take anything to help make that happen. And to the Carl Freeman Foundation, that's giving grants and guidance to nonprofits all over the state, thank you for your hard work. And to the Carl Freeman companies, my creative partners in imagining what mixed-use communities can look like here in the state. I love you all, and I'm so grateful. And to my two sons here that are here tonight, Ben and Nick, thank you for, and my daughter Jules, who's finishing her last semester at Wake Forest. I told her she couldn't come tonight. I just say thank you for having patience with your mom and for giving me grace when things were hard after your dad died. I love that you've been on this journey with me. Thank you, everyone. I'm really, really touched and just very blessed. My parents aren't here tonight. The rest, they didn't know what this, but I want to say to my mom and dad, they're back in Sussex County, actually getting out of BB Hospital, who we love, having great health care in Sussex. I just want to acknowledge that my parents raised 3 people that really believed in small business. My sister has 2 restaurants and a market, and Small business is where it's at. You know, business is where it's at. So thank you. I'm rambling. I love you all. I'm floored and appreciative. And one other thing, can I just say one more thing? The last thing I would say is that I believe businesses can have a double bottom line. My friend Ted Leonsis says a double bottom line. So I believe that you can really be a great business and still give back to the communities where you live, work, and play. And so I'm grateful that the Carl Freeman Foundation and the Carl Freeman companies want to leave places better than what they found them. And so if you're thinking that your small business can't make a difference, you can. And so, yes, give back. It's fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Michelle. So please remain seated for a few more minutes and give the Chase Center staff to serve your dinners. We've got a planning committee that's been working for the last several months to make this dinner a success. And so thanks very much to all the time and effort that they put in. I want to give a special recognition right here to Jerry Esposito, our annual dinner committee chair. Jerry, thank you for your dedication to this event and to the State Chamber. We're also honored when members of our congressional delegation make room in their busy schedules to support our organization. And let's recognize Senator Chris Coons, Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester, and Representative Sarah McBride. We ask them each for a short message, so let's take a look.
Hi, I'm U.S. Senator Chris Coons. Good evening to President Mike Caranta, to the State Chamber's board and members, and the 1,000 business leaders and community leaders who gather for the annual dinner tonight. Each year, this amazing event reminds us how essential the Delaware State Chamber of Commerce is to our success by strengthening relationships and helping to create a strong, unified voice for our business community. Tonight, you'll also hear from a great speaker, Rodger Levenson, Chairman, President, and CEO of WSFS. As one of the nation's oldest banks and the largest locally headquartered bank in our Delaware region, WSFS reflects the values that have long defined Delaware businesses: service, resilience, and a deep commitment to community. I'm also a satisfied customer. We'll celebrate another proud tradition this evening with the presentation of the Josiah Marvel Cup, Delaware's highest business honor, recognizing extraordinary leadership and service to our community. Whoever wins this year, I hope you know you earned your place among a legacy of business leaders who have improved not just their companies, their communities, but our entire state. Thank you, everyone, for all you do for Delaware's economy and its communities. It is my honor and blessing to work hard on your behalf in Washington every day. I hope you have a great evening.
To the members of the Delaware State Chamber of Commerce, elected officials, business and community leaders, and guests, good evening. Let me begin by thanking President Mike Caranta, the Board of Directors, Board of Governors, and staff of the Chamber for all of the work that you do to uplift Delaware businesses and our community at large. I'm honored to be joining you virtually from our nation's capital for tonight's 189th annual dinner. A yearly opportunity for all of us to come together and reflect on the progress we've made and commit to the work ahead. I know you're all excited to hear from this year's keynote speaker, Rodger Levenson from WSFS Bank, and I also want to congratulate the 2025 Marvel Cup awardee. As Mike wrote in a recent edition of the Chamber newsletter, this is a moment of innovation, change, and transition. And speaking of transition, I am so proud to now represent you in the United States Senate, where I am serving on 4 A-level committees that connect to everything Delawareans care about. The Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, where I'm working on issues that are top of mind for your members, like healthcare and ensuring we have a workforce that's prepared for today and tomorrow. The Environment and Public Works Committee, where I'm advocating for environmental policy that also strengthens our economy. The Commerce, Science, and Transportation Committee, where I'm focused on improving our infrastructure, securing our supply chains, and addressing the opportunities and challenges of artificial intelligence. And the Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee, where we are working to provide a bipartisan framework for our digital finance system. And we have already passed, for the first time in a decade, a bipartisan package of bills to attack our housing crisis. And this year, I was able to introduce my first comprehensive policy agenda as your senator, the New Way Home Agenda. In my first year, I've introduced over 35 bills, 21 of which are bipartisan. In fact, my first bill signed into law this Congress was the Streamlining Manufacturing Strategy Act, a bipartisan piece of legislation that will help boost our manufacturing competitiveness and strengthen our supply chains. Bottom line, your priorities are my priorities, and I hope you know you have a champion in me. And I look forward to working with you to ensure Delaware businesses can continue to thrive for generations to come. Enjoy your evening.
Good evening, Delaware State Chamber of Commerce. I'm U.S. Representative Sarah McBride, and I'm so thrilled to join you all virtually this evening in celebration of this year's annual dinner, the 189th for this chamber. I want to take a moment to congratulate the Marvel Cup awardees, both past and future, who are in the room this evening. As the highest business honor in Delaware, I'm sure you are all as excited as I am to learn tonight's awardee. Of course, this evening is about more than just one award. It's about the opportunity to connect, network, and collaborate with my former colleagues in the state legislature and influential business leaders from up and down Delaware. Congratulations are also in order for this evening's keynote, Mr. Rodger Levenson. Your acumen and engagement, both in the far inferior Pennsylvania and in the greatest state in the Union, Delaware, are duly recognized tonight. Well done. The State Chamber has long been a pillar of our business success in the first state, and I'm proud to be able to work alongside you all, both in Delaware and in DC, to build a future that tells entrepreneurs and small business owners that they are essential to moving our communities forward. In other words, when we support new and emerging business leaders, everyone benefits. Earlier this year, I passed my first bill in Congress aimed at making that vision a reality. My bipartisan legislation will unlock funding for entrepreneurs that have been historically left out. I've talked with many of you and others in our community about how challenging it is for aspiring small business owners to access capital. This bipartisan legislation creates a new path for capital to reach more hands. I'm proud to have such a supportive and effective community of leaders like yourselves, and I look forward to the continued work we will all do together in the years ahead. Congratulations to all of you for another great year of business success in Delaware, and enjoy the night ahead.
We also welcome staff from all the offices of our federal delegation. And as you know, we've heard from the governor. Governor, thank you again. And let me welcome also members of his staff. And members of the governor's cabinet. Tonight, we're honored to have several state officials: Lieutenant Governor Kyle Evans-Gay, Attorney General Kathy Jennings, State Treasurer Colleen Davis, State Auditor Lydia York, and Insurance Commissioner Trinidad Navarro. Thank you all. We're also glad to have members of the General Assembly with us tonight, too. Thank you to our state senators. And thank you to members of the House of Representatives for being here. And our friends from local government, Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex counties. A hearty welcome also to my friend Mayor John Carney and representatives from the city of Wilmington. Finally, we have some international guests with us tonight. Join me in welcoming them, please. And we certainly would not be here without the generosity of our sponsors. WSFS Financial Corporation is tonight's presenting sponsor, and we look forward to hearing from their chairman, president, and CEO, Rodger Levenson, after dinner. Rodger, on a personal note, I want to thank you for all your years of service on the board of directors. Few people on the board led with such creativity and decency as Rodger Levenson, and I really appreciate that. Rodger, thanks. We look forward to hearing from you later on tonight. Thank you, Rodger. Our reception sponsor, the Comores Company. Greg, thank you. Our chairman sponsors are 1440 Film Company, Adhesius, AstraZeneca, Bank of America, Barclays, Christiana Care, Corteva Agriscience, Delaware First Health, Delmarva Power, Federal Home Loan Bank of Pittsburgh, FMC, Fulton Bank, Harvey Hanna and Associates, Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield Delaware, JP Morgan Chase, M&T Bank, M. Davis & Sons, Nemours Children's Health, Sally Mae, and Shell Brothers. Please join me in acknowledging all of them, please. Our leadership sponsors are BB Healthcare and Morris Nichols Arston Tunnel. Our ambassador sponsors include Amazon, Bloom Energy, Citizens Bank, Insight, Mount Air Farms, PNC, PSEG Nuclear, Richards, Leighton and Finger, Social Contract, the University of Delaware, U.S. Wind, Visa, and Wilmington University. Please acknowledge them with me, please. At our advocate level, we have several sponsors, and they're listed there in front of you. And last but certainly not least, I want to recognize our small business leaders. Thank you all for your support. So please remain seated for dinner. And a reminder, we have several coffee stations on both sides of the room. And when we come back, we'll hear from Rodger Levenson, Chairman, President, and CEO of WSFS Financial Corporation. Enjoy, everybody. Okay, everybody, please have a seat. If everybody could please grab your seat real quick. Thank you very much. So welcome back. Let's give a round of applause to the Chase Center staff for all their hard work, please. Delaware's economy doesn't work without a strong banking and financial services industry. For decades, Delaware's banks have played a critical role allowing businesses here and in our region to grow, invest, and compete. WSFS Financial Corporation has been part of Delaware's banking story for nearly 2 centuries. Founded in 1832, WSFS is one of the 10 oldest banks in the country, and today is the largest locally headquartered bank and wealth management franchise in the Greater Philadelphia and Delaware region. That kind of longevity comes from understanding the market, managing risk, and making smart decisions over time. It also comes from leadership that knows when to adapt and when to stay disciplined. Former CEOs Skip Shaneholz and Mark Turner helped guide the institution through major changes in the industry, and they described many of those lessons learned in their books. If you're interested in the books, you can grab copies through the QR code on the back of your name tag, and a few are located on each table. That history matters because it creates the platform for leadership that's in place today. Under Rodger Levenson's leadership, WSFS Financial Corporation is growing thoughtfully and continuing to play an important role in Delaware's business community. He is building a strong foundation while positioning the bank and the industry as a whole for what comes next. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is a personal pleasure for me to invite to the stage Rodger Levenson.
But with WSFS, it is a little bit different. It's a little bit unique. They really are a partner of ours. And I say they're a partner of ours because they have helped us grow our organization to be what it is today. And without them, we wouldn't be where we are today, full stop.
WSFS has been a transformational partner for Teen Sharp. Over the last decade, we've received close to $1 million of funding, and that is very rare to have a multi-year support from a funder partner.
They're community-driven, they're local, and they have the pulse of the community.
WSFS took a chance on me when nobody else would, and I will forever be loyal to WSFS because of that.
That initial investment from WSFS was the biggest investment we had gotten to that point, and it really kickstarted everything that we're doing, and really is the foundation of our existence and our growth from that 2018 investment.
One of the biggest things that stands out with WSFS is they're a big bank. They can do everything we need them to do, but they're still local. I would tell you that WSFS is local and accessible.
WSFS is community-driven.
WSFS is a good listener.
WSFS is access. WSFS is partnership.
WSFS is Wilmington.
WSFS is great people.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening. It's an honor to stand here on behalf of WSFS, Bryn Mawr Trust, and our 2,300 associates, many of whom are here tonight and who I have the honor and privilege of serving with every day. Thank you. Tonight, I'm excited to share the WSFS story and the vital role partnerships play in fostering prosperity. I'd like to thank the Delaware State Chamber of Commerce for this opportunity to speak and for their remarkable work supporting the Delaware business community for nearly 200 years. In fact, this annual event is only 5 years younger than WSFS's 194 years. I'd also like to thank and acknowledge the leaders, stakeholders, elected officials, and prominent Delawareans previously introduced this evening. The longevity of this event and the Delaware State Chamber of Commerce illustrates how we can collectively achieve more together. Back in 1832, WSFS wasn't a financial corporation or even an acronym. It was the Wilmington Savings Fund Society. At that time, Delaware's few savings institutions only served affluent landowners and businesses. Nothing met the banking needs of Wilmington's working class. Our founder, Willard Hall, recognized this need, and the Wilmington Savings Fund Society was chartered to provide anyone in the Delaware community a safe place to deposit funds, no matter the size of their assets. Deposits had to be at least $1, but not more than $20, and interest was set at 3.6%. Mr. Hall was a truly historic Delawarean. In addition to his role in founding WSFS, he served 2 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives, nearly 50 years as a U.S. District Judge for Delaware.
He also advocated for a public education system and then served as president of the Wilmington Board of Education for 18 years. Willard served as our president for more than 40 years until he retired at the age of 92. His colleagues described him as careful, principled, learned, and trustworthy. These values continue to guide WSFS today. Those early years of the Wilmington Savings Fund Society were modest. In fact, it took over 50 years to achieve $1 million in total deposits. A few years after that, we moved to a newly built headquarters at the corner of 9th and Market Streets in Wilmington. For WSFS's centennial anniversary during the Great Depression in 1932, we commissioned a mural by artist N.C. Wyeth. That painting, titled "The Apotheosis of the Family," hung in our headquarters for over 75 years. The mural was recently acquired by the Wyeth Foundation for American Art, and after a restoration process was installed last year at Point Lookout Farm, the home of NC's grandson, artist Jamie Wyeth, on the Chadds-Ford, Delaware border. It is an impressive work in both its size at 19 by 60 feet and its subject. It depicts hope in family, collaboration, and community. Through this, WSFS offered a bold vision during a very difficult time. From that initial charter written with inkwell and quill, WSFS has grown to more than $20 billion in assets on its balance sheet and a market capitalization of over $3 billion. If you exclude the really big banks, we're also the fourth largest bank-owned wealth and trust business in the United States, with over $93 billion of assets under management and administration. As you heard Mike say, we're very proud to be one of the 10 oldest banks in the U.S., continuously operating under the same name and as the largest headquarters bank and wealth management franchise in the Greater Philadelphia and Delaware region. In Delaware, we employ more than 1,000 people at 38 locations across Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex counties. Through strong community relationships, we provide banking and wealth management services to support small and large businesses, home buyers, home remodelers, entrepreneurs, retirees, nonprofits, and many more. In our nearly 200 years of existence, WSFS has only had 13 CEOs. As Mike mentioned, two of these leaders were my immediate predecessors, Marvin "Skip" Shainholz and Mark Turner, from who I've learned so much about banking, leadership, character, and resilience. Skip and Mark are both in the audience tonight, and their unique WSFS stories are shared in the copies of their books you have on your tables. Shortly after becoming a public company in 1986, WSFS went through a very difficult period. In 1989, WSFS was on the brink of failure. Skip, who had just recently been appointed CEO, led the bank from a near collapse to a thriving regional leader. Skip saw the potential of WSFS, the value a locally headquartered community bank could have for Delaware, and a path forward through remaining independent. His bold strategic vision didn't just save the bank, it laid the groundwork for our long-term success, establishing a culture of service and values and identifying the leaders that would help build WSFS's future. Those efforts, as you heard, helped Skip earn the Marvel Cup at this very dinner in 2009. Mark was one of those leaders that Skip identified and trusted, and after succeeding Skip as CEO in 2007, he oversaw 11 years of disciplined, sustained, and highly profitable growth, including steering WSFS through the Great Recession and orchestrating the 2019 acquisition of Beneficial Bank in his hometown of Philadelphia. Both Skip and Mark prioritized building a world-class culture focused on service, and that service-based focus still stands true today. It's been an opportunity of a lifetime to follow in the footsteps of two tremendous leaders and friends. Would you please join me in a special acknowledgement of their unmatched commitment to WSFS and Delaware. I had the great honor of being appointed CEO on January 1st, 2019, and a few years after that transition, we acquired Bryn Mawr Trust, significantly enhancing our wealth and trust capabilities and overall presence in this region. Today, WSFS remains a community bank, not just in category, but in philosophy, combining a broad set of financial services with local delivery. Because community banks like WSFS understand local opportunities and challenges, we provide solutions and recommendations personalized for the places and people we serve. When we say we stand for service, it's more than a tagline, it's our daily call to action. Our vision in 2026 is bold, a day when we all will thrive. This community focus is inherent in our founding and has been embraced for decades by our associates. They invest their energy and passion into our communities, and we support this dedication by providing each associate 4 hours per month of paid time to participate in volunteer activities that are meaningful to them. I'm thrilled to share that last year we volunteered over 38,000 hours throughout our communities. In addition, WSFS and the WSFS Cares Foundation contributed more than $3 million supporting workforce development, affordable housing, food security, and many other worthy causes. We are also investing in our corporate home. Last year, we reaffirmed our commitment to Wilmington with a planned renovation and long-term lease renewal for our headquarters at 500 Delaware Avenue. Known as WSFS Bank Center, this has been our home since the building was constructed in 2006. Through a unique bit of serendipity, Willard Hall is buried at the Wilmington and Brandywine Cemetery, which is visible from the Bank Center. Our goal is to remain independent and an influential fixture in Delaware and this region for many years to come. Along the way, our clients' needs will change, Delaware's needs will continue to change, and the solution to meet these needs, financial services or otherwise, will continue to change. Delaware has the business community, state leadership, and partnerships to embrace those opportunities and be a leader for the future. The Financial Center Development Act of 1981 created a climate of business partnership and prosperity for the first state that has helped to drive our economy for over 45 years. As we all know, today we are living during a period of rapid change driven by technological development. Artificial intelligence, blockchain, and many other technologies are literally changing the way we work and serve clients. This is significantly impacting the financial services industry, including many firms in this room. We together have an incredible opportunity to work in partnership with Governor Meyer, our elected officials, and organizations such as the Delaware Prosperity Partnership, Delaware Bankers Association, the Business Roundtable, and the State Chamber to drive innovation and promote Delaware as an emerging leader in financial technology. These partnerships have enabled initiatives like the FinTech Innovation Hub at the University of Delaware Star Campus. This academic and industry partnership aims to turn cutting-edge research into meaningful action, supporting families, entrepreneurs, and statewide economic development. Strengthened by the Delaware advantages, the financial services sector is an essential part of our state's economy, accounting for 50,000 jobs, 9% of all jobs in Delaware, the highest share of any state, and nearly twice the U.S. average. In turn, the financial sector helps support and sustain Delaware's economic growth across all industries, from hospitals to hospitality, restaurants to research, and farms to pharmaceuticals. While Delaware is well known as a desirable home for big corporations, small businesses and entrepreneurs are also powering our state's economy. Today, there are more than 111,000 small businesses in Delaware. These businesses employ just over half of all Delaware employees. These jobs are uplifting our communities and promoting the vitality of the entire region. This was a main reason why so many of us got into banking. the opportunity to empower others in pursuing their dreams, achieving their goals, and supporting their families. Especially in the financial services sector, there are few states as exciting as Delaware. But to translate that energy into growth takes cultivation of our most important resource, talent. Many companies come here to access our deep and diverse workforce. The Delaware Workforce Development Board, along with programs like Tech Impact, Code Differently, and Year Up United, are dedicated to keeping Delaware a destination for great talent and great companies looking for great talent. Our students engage with business leaders through Delaware State University's Executive Exchange Program and UD's Early Career Co-op program. Building these relationships with promising young professionals helps to keep the talent developed in Delaware leading in Delaware. I know many of you here support these essential programs along with WSFS. The cooperation is the only way these programs succeed in expanding opportunity and keeping Delaware prosperous, vibrant, and desirable. From startups to homegrown institutions to the more than 1.8 million businesses incorporated here, including nearly 67% of the Fortune 500 companies, Delaware is a world-class commercial hub. All of us in this room look to promote the business community, prosperity, and future of Delaware together. Let us be careful, principled, learned, and trustworthy partners and leaders. And through this, let's be bold. Let's be curious in reimagining how we do business and embrace the entrepreneurial spirit of innovation and the first state. Let's collaborate to find new solutions and new ways to be the solution. The Greater Philadelphia and Delaware region is one of the most economically diverse and resilient markets in the country, and we are excited about our opportunities here and the future growth of this market. Later this year, the eyes of the world will be on the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence and many exciting regional events. This will provide an unprecedented opportunity for us to showcase what Delaware has to offer. Delaware's greatest strengths and successes have always come when we work together, and together we will continue to drive our state and region forward. WSFS is proud to represent Delaware in these partnerships through the Delaware State Chamber of Commerce. Alongside everyone in this room and throughout our state, we must keep serving and promoting the prosperity of Delaware, the surrounding region, and beyond. Together, we have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to provide a launch pad to another extended period of growth and prosperity for Delaware. I cannot think of a better way to honor Willard Hall's legacy than a future when we can all say we were partners in this next wave of innovation and prosperity. Thank you.
Rodger, thank you. That was outstanding. It's really, really great. Much appreciated. Now I'd like to recognize our A.R. Morris Board Member of the Year, who was selected by our staff for his contributions to the organization. Andrew has served on our Board of Governors since 2020 and has been member of our Board of Directors since 2023. He also served on the board, on our Workforce Board affiliate, and is a member of our nominating committee. In addition to being engaged and thoughtful in board meetings, Andrew has gone above and beyond his duties by building personal relationships with the staff, and I'm sincerely appreciative of that. So my congratulations, and the team's congratulations, to Andrew Catone of Eternium. Andrew, if you're here, come on up to the stage. Okay. Our door prize. Our members have once again donated our door prize for tonight, and we're grateful for all of that. The winner will enjoy a round of golf for 4 at Kings Creek Country Club, a gift card from Dogfish Head Craft Brewery, and an overnight stay at the Hyatt Dewey Beach, courtesy of TKO Hospitality and Harvey Hanna. And the winner is, congratulations to Michelle Ray from Blackwell HR. Michelle, stop by the registration desk when you leave tonight to pick up your prize. So before we adjourn, I want to thank my staff for their outstanding work that they provide to all of us every single day. This will be the last time I address all of you from this podium, but I am grateful to every single day that they're in the office and they work so hard on your behalf. We have a really, really great team, and we're going to run really hard all the way through 2026. You can be assured of that. Specifically, let me call out Kelly Basil, Carrie Welcher, Regina Donato, and Amanda Schimmel. Specifically, they did a tremendous job for you tonight on this wonderful event. Thank you. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed the program tonight. Rodger, I cannot thank you enough and the WSFS team for all that you do for the community, all that you've personally done for the Chamber, and we look forward to your leadership in the Delaware Prosperity Partnership. Your predecessors, Skip and Mark and others, all the team at WSFS, just tremendous contributors to the greater Delaware region, and we're grateful to all of you. So thank you, our sincere thanks. So we've got cookies on the table and we have books. Don't forget to take those. And the centerpieces, thanks to the Kenny Family Foundation and ShopRights of Delaware, you're welcome to take that. And don't forget to grab your gift bag on the way out with your WSFS swag and your dinner glass. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Good night.